Hey guys, a really warm welcome to the Gay Games 2 years countdown event. My name is Charles. We have a live audience here, and we also have an audience of about 50 to 60 people on webinar. So welcome everyone. Before we start, I want to say thank you for the Peninsula for sponsoring and partnering with us on this really important milestone. The purpose here today is to really just introduce officially to you guys what the Gay Games is. So can I just quickly see a show of hands? Who has heard of the Gay Games? All right. If I were to ask one of you to describe what the Gay Game is, who knows how to describe a gay game? Just to let the webinar people know, there's no one putting their hands up. No one in the audience here would like to describe what the Gay Games is. Anyone want to give it a go? All right. So that's exactly why we're here today. Gay Games will be opening at Hong Kong in 2022 on the 12th of November. And this is exactly 2 years from now. So I want to invite Dennis, our co-chair of Gay Games Hong Kong, to come in just to share with us a little bit about what Gay Games is and the history, milestone, and why we are doing what we're doing right now.
Great. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining here face-to-face. Everybody around the world, welcome for joining us virtually. Thank you, Charles, for organizing the event. What is the Gay Games? This is a very good question. So I remembered the Gay Games from 1998 in Amsterdam. And I've been living in Hong Kong for 10 years now. And 6 years ago, I was thinking about the Gay Games and realized they were never held in Asia. So I reached out to the Federation of Gay Games, which is a bit like the IOC of the Gay Games, to say, hey, how can we bring the Gay Games for the first time to Asia? And there's a bidding process. So the Gay Games started in 1982 in San Francisco. And they have been held every 4 years since then. The first Gay Games was in San Francisco, like I said, and Tina Turner was the guest of star. And she used that to restart her career. Tina Turner is still alive, but that's a completely different topic later. So then I reached out to the Federation of Gay Games, and we have been doing a bidding process. Just like the Olympic Games, you have to do bidding. So we were bidding against 18 other cities. And on the picture there, left top, you can see our first call with the Federation of Gay Games. We had to submit a bid book proposal, 300 pages, which describes and outlines our ideas for the event. And then we got shortlisted, which happened in 2017. We got shortlisted against Washington, D.C. and Guadalajara in Mexico. And then inspectors came to Hong Kong to look at the amazing facilities Hong Kong has. So we organized a community reception at PMQ, and more than 600 people showed up on a Wednesday night. That was really a great event there. Then 3 years ago, we had to go to Paris for our final presentations. And Cathay Pacific arranged flight tickets to fly us to Paris. And in Paris, I was sitting next to the mayor of Washington, D.C. for 3 days. And in the final presentation, Hong Kong won. Anybody who has been here of you to Paris? Does anybody remember the beautiful City Hall in Paris? Yeah, it's a beautiful old building. And 3 years ago, the deputy mayor of Paris announced that Hong Kong win the Gay Games. So let's have a look at that video here. So imagine you're in a very beautiful old building on a Monday night. Everybody is nicely dressed up.
La ville qui va organiser les Gay Games en 2022 pour la 11e édition. Et la ville de Hong Kong.
And that's a beautiful story there to tell. Because Cathay Pacific sponsored us and gave us flight ticket to Paris. But they also said, we're going to believe that you're going to win. So they arranged a special cockpit crew of 3 gay pilots and a local lesbian pilot. So when we won, and that was a very long, exhausting week, we arrived with the team at the airport in Paris. And the Cathay Pacific arranged cake and champagne. But then we were sitting in the airplane, and the captain did his normal talk to thank everybody, all the ActionHouse members, blah, blah, blah. And then he was telling, we're now flying from Paris to Hong Kong. And I'm so proud to have the winning Gay Games team with me on board, bringing the Gay Games for the first time to Asia. Yeah, but what is now exactly the Gay Games? So the last Gay Games was 2 years ago in Paris. And you see some pictures here of the team. There's more than 100 participants who came from Hong Kong and mainland China. And we created a video of that experience. So let's have a look at that video of the Gay Games 2 years ago.
It's wonderful to see so many people gather together for sport.
巴黎是一个非常浪漫、非常漂亮的城市。
Actually, for our team, we have straight people, we have gay people.
People are very warm and welcoming. I just feel at home.
People should be more tolerant and more acceptable diversity because that's what makes us human.
And you're all invited for the next Gay Games in 2022 in Hong Kong.
Gay game is much more than the sport. It's more the community.
喺呢度咧，我再同香港嘅運動員打氣。
Will open the eyes of everyone.
2022年11月約定你香港舉辦嘅 Gay Games，到時見。
加油
See you in Hong Kong.
So that was 2 years ago. And in 2 years' time, today, will be the opening ceremony in the Hong Kong Stadium. And you all know the Hong Kong Stadium probably as the stadium from the Rugby Sevens, right? So imagine there will be 12,000 participants waiting outside the stadium. The stadium is filled with 40,000 spectators. And those 12,000 participants will be walking through the tunnels onto the football pitch. Yeah, that's a life-changing moment. It's an Olympian. Yeah, imagine that you live in Cambodia, in the Philippines, or in mainland China, or in Hong Kong. You've never been into the stadium, and people applauding for you. It's a magic, empowering, life-changing experience. We'll have singers, we'll have dancers, we'll have performances, and the opening ceremony is the start of the festival. So the Gay Games is a 9-day event. Everybody can join. So you don't need to be a member of the LGBT community, right? So regardless of your sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, and age. We'll have 36 sports. we're going to have arts and culture events. We have singers, dancers, performances, we have art exhibitions, and we have an opening ceremony in the Hong Kong Stadium, as I said. There will be festival village at the central Harbourfront, where lots of events will be happening. So it's a big event, and it's a great opportunity to have this event for the first time in Asia. Yeah, it's about $1 billion Hong Kong dollar impact on Hong Kong, 300,000 hotel rooms. So it's a really great opportunity to showcase that Hong Kong has its unique, amazing culture.
Thank you, Dennis. So that's a summary of that. And the purpose today is we're not asking you guys to do anything really. It's really to show you guys what we are doing, what we have been doing in the past 4 years. I remember when I sat down with Dennis outside a coffee shop, we were actually just chatting. We're like, hey, bro, what's the Gay Games? And then he went, it's a very cool festival for the LGBT community. And then I went, yeah, I'm in for that. I didn't know what it was all about. And then from the big book stage, when we were putting together a 300 pages long proposal, I've got an idea of what it is. But not until I flew to Paris in 2018, landed, looked at everyone, and seeing how everyone was so welcome and receptive, did I realize, wow, this is going to be us in Hong Kong in 2022. And it strikes me as a surprise that up until this point, we are opening registration in a few months' time. But very little people are aware of what the full concept is. And therefore, this is why the reason you are here invited today, to really just be inspired, hopefully, not by me, but by the concept. And those of you online tuning in, I hope you guys will get a bit more idea of what the Gay Games is about.
And that's a good point, right? So when the Gay Games happened in Paris, 2 months later, we went to the organizers of the Paris team and to get their feedback and lesson learned. And they said, after the event in Paris, there were many people and organizations who told them after the event, they said, if we would have known that this event is so big, we would have been involved. Yeah, so for us now, 2 years out, this is all a great way to get involved here. Yeah, so we are a registered charity organization. We have now more than 110 volunteers, and everybody's really excited and working hard to work on event together. So, for example, we have a team of about 30 volunteers working on a sports event. We have a fundraising event. We have arts and culture participants, people working on the festival village and a marketing team. Yeah, so it is really like a startup, and everybody is spending 20, 10, 5 or 40 hours per week on getting this together.
Yeah, I know today we have invited also a bunch of panelists. So I want to invite them on stage right now to just discuss a little bit more.
Okay, thank you very much. Vivian, please sit down over there. Billy, Chris, thank you very much. Vivian, please. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Now there's more ladies on the stage. It feels a bit better. My name is Betty, and I will be actually having a bit of a fire chat with these amazing people. And they all have something to say about Gay Games. Either they participated, or they're part of the team, or they are a great supporter. So I would like them to introduce themselves first. So maybe we can start with you, Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris McDonald. I'm looking after the ceremonies, opening and closing. I come from an event marketing background. Been doing in Hong Kong for about 10 years, working in events and marketing. So this is a great opportunity to be involved in a fantastic games.
Thank you, Chris. Vivian?
Thank you, Betty. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Charles. Thank you for inviting me. And my name is Vivian. My background was I was a swimmer for Hong Kong. I qualified for the Olympics and I went to Asian Games. I got a silver medal long time ago. And I sit on the advisory board for Gay Games. And when I first met Dennis, it was like 3-4 years ago. and we were chatting about, oh, you know, we want to bring more sporting events to Hong Kong. I said, that's great. Because my company, my background, once I came from a PR and sports marketing background, we do Stand Chart Marathon, Harbour Race, Formula E, all sorts of major events. So I'm excited to see Hong Kong, you know, having gay games.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Jasmine?
Thank you. My name's Jasmine Titmus. Again, thank you for inviting me up. My background, I was actually a professional cricketer in the UK. So not a sport that's in gay games, but still a sport. And day to day, I work at Credit Suisse in the recruitment team. So I run compliance, legal recruitment there. And yeah, I met Dennis again. It was similar. I had a coffee with him. Obviously,
this is a running joke.
It is.
If you have coffee with Dennis.
Coffee with Dennis. And again, we had a similar network that put us in touch, and just great to be involved, and hopefully I can make a difference. I'm working on the sports team, so I'm ball games manager. So lots of sports that I have to look after, and hopefully we get there for 2022.
Thank you, Jasmine. Billy?
Thank you. I'm Billy. I am a former volleyball player in Hong Kong. And I joined, I think in Paris it's my first gay game. And we won the gold medal. We're lucky. We got lucky.
Paris 2018, the last gay game.
And yeah, we are just feel proud that I can join this event.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we know Charles and Dennis already. Thank you very much, everybody. So we're going to start. I want to talk about personal stuff. I think we talk about the gay games a bit. We just keep it nice. A few of you have actually gone to Paris 2018, which is the last gay games that happened. So I'm going to ask people who were there first, and I'm looking at Chris, if you can pass the microphone to Chris. I know you were there. I know you didn't arrive on the first or second day. So you arrived about in the middle of the gay games. But one of the things I really want to ask you is if you can share the most memorable moments of you being at gay games in Paris.
There's a couple, really. I mean, obviously being there was great. You know, I did arrive quite late in the game, so I was maybe middle of the way through. But one of the things was just, you know, you pick up your accreditation, your bag, and you get, you know, your bag essentially. But that's almost like your identifier for the rest of the time you're in the city. So anytime you saw like a gay games bag, you go, oh, that's my, you know, that's the people, that's our tribe. So that was kind of, and it kind of really built a bit of a community. So you knew where you were, and that was one part. The other part was watching the volleyball. You know, Billy and his team come winning. That was just a nail-biting final, and it was amazing. And being, you know, doing running as well. I run, so being in running.
And was it feeling about the city? Did you? I mean, you were in Paris before. Did you see a difference with participating in the gay games and?
Yeah, there was a real buzz in the city. It's like, and it really energizes the city. And I was also in Sydney in 2002 as well. And it really does energize the city. You guys don't, you know, really realize how much of a buzz it does bring when you got thousands of gay lesbians and, you know, everyone in town, and they're really having a good time. It's just amazing feeling for the city. And it also kind of makes the people within the city kind of realize and get a real sense of pride within the city as well. And I think we have a great opportunity here in Hong Kong to actually, you know, it's a small city in terms of geographic space, but I think it's a great sense of building that pride and having a real...
Do you think it changed you personally in a way?
Yeah, I think it's maybe more, you know, more open, I think, and more willing to have a go and, you know, give it a go, basically.
Fantastic. I'm going to ask the same question to Billy, because Billy was there as well. You just mentioned that you were part of an amazing winning team, volleyball. I was there. It was amazing. And can you just show this medal you're wearing? Can you show it to the camera so we kind of see what it is about?
But I have to say that, like, sorry because we are cheating now. This is just like
it's a medal.
It's a medal for participant. But I actually have the gold medal at home, but I couldn't find it last night. I feel very sorry, but yeah. The very exciting moment is really the moment that we got the last point. During the last game, we had a lot of support. Like we have a bunch of participants.
I shouted so hard, it was funny.
Every point we won, they have cheer for us, and then the moment we won, like, well, I still cannot, like, you can see I'm still very excited. I'm shaking because when I remember that moment, I feel like we finally win something for Hong Kong. Like I used to be the volleyball player for Hong Kong, but we never win any games in the international. But in the gay games, but yeah, we really find we can do it for Hong Kong, do something for Hong Kong.
And it was actually about the team, right?
Yes.
And can you just tell us a little bit about the team? I mean, the way it was formed in a way, and how, I mean, how actually you decided to go to gay games? I mean, this is actually a bit of a process. Maybe you can share a little bit?
Okay, first of all, that the team is actually organized by a strict friend of mine. Like he's a French guy. And then like we decided, let's visit his family in France and join the game together. That's how I start to look for the games. And in the team, we have my French brother and his girlfriend, and also me and my boyfriend. And
it's a great diversity. Yeah. That's what's fantastic. That's what about the gay game. Yeah.
It is, and also the game is actually, I think beside, I think the all levels is available for girls as well, right? Like for the men's volleyball games, you can have girls in the team, but not in the girls game. And then in our games, we are happy because we have girls playing all the time. And then at the same time, we had the chance to win. So it's the diversity, and it's really feel like we are just
And how was it to explain to them, I would like you to sign up to an event called Gay Games? Was it a difficult process, or they just went, this is an amazing global sports event, I want to join? Or was there some issues there?
Not at all. They never have any hesitation on joining the games, actually, to be honest. And I actually talk about the gay games a lot with a bunch of my friends. Actually, most of the volleyball players, they are more accepted. They will be like, let's play the coming games, and they're really welcome.
So this is really what university unity in diversity means. Is that you don't need to be, I mean, regardless of your sexual orientation or your gender, you can join. So the memorable moment about winning, do you think that actually changed you as a person when you came back to Hong Kong?
It is. I think I got the same experience because I feel like I'm more open, and I'm more open to talk about the gay games. And actually, I think in last year, I spoke with Dennis about.
Did you have coffee with Dennis?
No, I had. No, actually, we had coffee. Sorry, because I was in American Express. I worked for American Express, and then I was setting up the first Pride network for them.
Fantastic, yeah.
Actually, after the gay game, I actually tried to be more get involved in the society and help
This is exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. Okay, great. I think we can talk to Charles as well. I think you were there in Paris, and I understand you were volunteering for us at the time. Can you just share some of your moments? And you can skip the coffee with Dennis.
You mean the coffee at Paris or Hong Kong?
No, just the coffee and Dennis.
Yeah, for me, going to Paris was a big decision because it really clashes with my work schedule at the time. But I thought it's time for me to actually take the next step forward to see what Gay Games is about. I will skip all the journey there. I think the biggest moment for me is being able to be with a bunch of like-minded individuals. And I don't do sports. I tried to run. I broke my ankle. I was limping for the rest of the week. But the fact that I was marching into that opening stadium, and I looked at about 12,000 people applauding. They were like, some even shouting, Hong Kong, Hong Kong. I was like, never in a billion years than I thought I can receive a ceremony like that. I think that's, for me, is a life-changing moment. And after Paris, obviously going there as organizer, I have picked up all the stuff that, what I could do better. And the first thing I came back, I was like, let's get going. Let's get the ball rolling, and let's get more people. Let's educate more people. That's why I invited all of you tonight, and we're doing a webinar. I want everyone to know what the Gay Games stand for, and that is participation, inclusion, and personal best. You're not competing with anyone out there in the world. You are just doing your best.
Okay, thank you. Can you maybe Dennis, share just your most memorable moment in Paris? And then we're going to go to the lovely ladies of the panel.
It's a story about the Japanese athlete, right? And I've been telling this story many times. So during running, there was a Japanese athlete and he won a gold medal. And I told him, you must be very proud of your medal. And then he said, well, not really, because I cannot bring the medal home. Because he told his friends and his family and his colleagues that he's on a business trip. Yeah? Because he cannot be out, he cannot tell them that he's gay. Yeah? And that for me was a very touching moment, because he should be able to go home and say, hey, mom and dad, here's my gold medal, and be proud. Or, and I hope next time, in 2 years' time, he'll be able to bring his parents from Japan over and to say, hey, mom and dad, I'm going to participate in running. Yeah. And the other thing what Chris mentioned, the whole Paris and the same as Amsterdam, the whole city was gay. Yeah, I opened the door, it's flooded with gay, 12,000 participants, 75,000 spectators for 9 days. It's a lot of people, and Hong Kong is a small city, and we'll have venues all over Hong Kong, not only Hong Kong Island side, but also a Kowloon side. So in 2 years' time, everywhere from the airport to the stadium, it will be full of gay people.
I mean, I was there in Paris as well, and I'm actually from France, and it was amazing how French people were interested in gay games, but also in gay games in Hong Kong. And I had to kind of talk about Hong Kong to many people. It was fantastic. I'm talking about Gay Games Paris because that was the last gay game we participated in. I wanted to make sure that people understand the impact on a city. Vivian, you actually haven't participated in gay games yet, but I understand you participated in great large sports events. Can you share for us some of the memorable moments you had when you went to those large events?
Wow, I need 1 hour. Actually, kids, I feel very blessing because I'm working on something that I really enjoyed, maybe like Charles. And, because we are in a very tough industry, that's you can see the glamour sides of, organizing events, but at the back, backstage, it's a lot of dirty works, roll up the sleeve and do everything basically. But I'm truly blessed that I'm able to do something that I enjoyed and like. I've organized a lot of international and local events. Crisis is something that I always, it's always memorable. For those crises that you guys know, we have to deal with it, but a lot of the crisis is behind the scene. We have to prevent that happen or manage, to, take care of it or tackle it before it gone public. So I would say a lot of time, for example, when we do, the harbor race, we have the situation that swimmers started before the gunfire. So we can't jump in the water and stop everybody. So we have to let them swim. And then we have to do the combat. We had a situation like when we had a running event, the arch collapsed, right before, it started. So we have to do ad hoc. I have to run to the stage and say, stop, MC stop, counting down, a lot of things. But unfortunately, we do not have any kind of like big issues or crisis, cause injuries or things. So I think, when we participate in events, I think from a participants level, we are very excited. We want to get, into the event and we want to race it and finish it. But for me, when I participate, I remember one event that I had a great memory was Universiade. So when I was studying in Hong Kong U and I went to Universiade. Comparing with other major events that I participated, it's a less pressure, kind of event. I went there, I swam, I got good results. I didn't get medal. But I enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy
this is carnival. What the participation that Charles is talking about.
I enjoy the friendship that I developed there. People around the world, we gather together. We gather at the same place. We speak the same we speak the same language, English, but actually we basically look into the same things. So I guess that's something that I think that's one of my passion, is to bring unity together. Gay Game is one of the events. I think it brings people together. So yeah.
Thank you so much,
You're
Vivian.
welcome.
Thank you for sharing. Jasmine, a similar question. I know that you haven't actually been to a gay game as such, but because of your career, you have participated in large sport events. And I'm going to just ask a little interesting angle. As a queer woman, did you feel, a memorable moment that makes you feel that you want to move forward in bringing yourself up, or a bit more open? Or?
Yeah, I think it is a good question.
Always.
When I was growing up, I found it quite difficult. I think just as a lot of people go through, you find it difficult kind of getting to grips with it yourself. When you tell your family, it's always a hard time. But I think probably the most memorable thing for me was with my cricket career. I grew up basically with the same team of people from 17 to kind of nearly 30, right, before I came out to Hong Kong. So I grew up with all of those players, and there was some of us who were going through similar issues, but then you have your team as your support network. So it's quite a cliche thing to say, I think, and you'll hear it a lot, but genuinely, when you are with an amazing team and you go to World Cups and you play in the Ashes
or gay games,
or gay games, but just amazing things like that you experience, and you have that support network. It is just about that amazing team that you're with. And like you said, the inclusion part, we've traveled to like India, Pakistan, South Africa, and you just see so many religions and so many different cultures and just different people's take on life. And when you're all in that one team, you're trying to achieve the same goal. And if you don't win, you're working on something else to get you there next time. And it is just an amazing thing. It doesn't matter where you're from or what you're struggling with. I think with sport, everyone's always on the same page.
One of the things that I discovered in a way when I was in Paris is the community that was built around actual gay games. There are people that have been to every gay games from the beginning, and especially in the women's community, I feel like there's a very, very strong sense of sisterhood, which is actually quite important in our world. What do you think about using sport as empowerment for queer women? Do you think is it important?
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's lots that sport can show kind of other areas of life of really how to be inclusive. And like you say, anything that I've seen or be involved in with sport, there's been that same community support. And I can't wait to see what Hong Kong's like. Like, I've not been to gay games, but I've been to some prides around the world. And like you say, you see the same faces and you go to see those people. And I think it's the same with sport. You're going to watch the sports, but you're going to see those same people and, increase your community.
Yeah. By the way, we want to make sure that Gay Games Hong Kong has a record number of women, of young people. You have to be 18, but of young people and of non-binary and transgender individuals as well. I think this is something that we want to achieve. Now I'm just going to go a little bit more on the actual Gay Games volunteering work. We are Thursday night, and I'm just going to ask, and I'm going to start by Chris because he's just in front of me. Why are you here? Why are you here with us? You could just be watching Netflix or watching the great view outside. I mean, what's made you, and do not say coffee with Dennis, that doesn't count. What made you actually participate in the Gay Games?
So maybe a glass of wine with you, Betty, instead of coffee with Dennis. But yeah, I think it's just really about getting involved, and I think really kind of to get the community more engaged around the Gay Games. I think it's super important. I think there's a lot to do across sports, across the whole festival. And I think it's super important that we all get the word out to everyone that we know, and for all of you to be part of it as well. It's a great thing to be part of. So that's why I'm here really today, to
Okay, great. Thank you. So Vivian, you are not exactly part of our volunteering team, but you're also a great ally and great supporter. And I know you had coffee with Dennis. I think that has happened. But can you just tell us and share with us why you said, yes, this is something that I am 100% behind and I want to support for the Gay Games, but also for the city of Hong Kong? Why is that?
I guess it's the sports element. Nelson Mandela had a quote, sports has the power to change the world. It does. I think, bringing people together, no matter, what's your background, what color you're, sports, we are talking and speaking the same language. I think that's very important. I think that we need that, Hong Kong need the unity and I strongly encourage, no matter where you are and what nationality or Christianity, and you should do sports because for my background, I was a very competitive swimmer, but I remember when I was standing on my medal block, in the stage, I told myself and I talked to myself. I said, even though without that medal, journey was so important. So through the journey, we learned so much, and not always the happy side, it will be a downside. But I think that it's very important to encourage people to do exercise. And recently, you see a lot of mental health issues. And I think that, through sports, it could make a change. So that's why, sports is playing a very important role in everybody's heart and life.
And you believe the event is good for the actual city of Hong Kong? Because I understand you're from Hong Kong.
Yes, I do. Yeah, because the gay game is not it's not just about the competitive elements. It's about everything. Starting from ceremonies, carnivals, all sort of sports. And I think that it is something that very different from what I organized before, because I always organize a very competitive level sports. But this one, it's going to be a very unique experience.
We have a competitive angle. I mean, we know that a world record have been broken during Gay Games. So we do have a competitive level. So it's great. Jasmine, you are, I think, one of the newest member of our team, quite new, which is great. We want that. Can you tell me, besides coffee with Dennis, that's always a very important coffee, what made you say, yes, this is something I want to do?
Yeah, I think I touched on it earlier. It wasn't so much of a struggle, but I think I found it quite hard to just be myself for quite a few years from when I realized, I was gay, and it was very, very difficult for me. And I think, like I said, sport was a good anchor for me, and I was around the right people. And yeah, I think just realizing really what Gay Games was about, and not having been involved in it before, and what it can bring to a city. When I first got to Hong Kong, I was very comfortable with myself, and then you go to a new city, and then it all kind of starts again. You start a new role. You're in a different place, and I think for us to have this here and to really bring awareness to the people in Hong Kong and just have a big celebration. I think it's just amazing. And when I spoke to Jackie for the sports, obviously I wanted to get involved from that angle as well, because hopefully I can help. But yeah, I think it's just such an amazing thing to be involved in, and I'm a bit angry with myself that I've not been to one yet.
It's okay. I mean, every 4 years, so it's fine. You have a bit of time. We're just gonna skip Billy. I mean, Billy is not actually a member of the team just now. He hasn't had coffee with Dennis. We're just gonna talk to Charles. Charles, you've been in the team for quite a few years now, and we actually went through the bidding together. Been part of this team for a while. So, what made you say? I think you touched on it a little bit earlier, but I just want you to go a little bit more on a personal level. What made you said, this is something I want to be part in, and this is something that Hong Kong needs? Because when we were doing through the bidding process, it wasn't a given. It wasn't a given at all. So can you just give us a little bit of background on that?
Yeah, I'm not really going to talk too much about inspiration here, because I usually talk a lot about that. I just want everyone to know or understand one thing, and there's not many safe haven in Hong Kong. You know, if we hang out, we have maybe less than 5 gay bars that we can hang out at. There are maybe 1 or 2 LGBT organizations and maybe 3 sports teams. So this is really the opportunity to get people together. And I don't think we have actually mentioned at all so far. There are 36 sports in gay games happening over 9 days. And these all 36 sports are open for all. And Jasmine is obviously one of them. And back to why I'm joining the gay games, just one word, because Hong Kong needs it. And it's so fun. And people forget about the fun that, you know, to get everyone together from all over the world to witness us making history. So it's just, why not, right?
Sure, I think we can say it's for Hong Kong, but it's also for the region. Yeah. It's the first time that any gay games actually going to be held in this region, and Hong Kong being quite a little bit of in the middle of it all. This is actually for Hong Kong in the middle. Dennis, I just want you to share a little bit of the story and how it started for you. We only have a few minutes, so you have to be short, but just give us a little bit of a hint on that.
I think I started already talking about the journey why I'm doing it, right? But the power of sport is an important element here. And I've seen for the last 5 years, I've been working part-time as a volunteer on the Gay Games. And it's really empowering to have this amazing team of people who really believe in the concept of the Gay Games and to make it happen. And on a personal level, I left my full-time job earlier this year. So I'm now full-time volunteer and for the next 2.5 years committed on this. And why am I doing this? Why I'm not buying a house? Because I believe in the impact of the Gay Games. Because like what you said, right, having the Gay Games for the first time in Asia, I will be able to include participants in events that's bigger than themselves. It will be life-changing moments. People will be never forgetting that in their life. We'll build lifelong friendships, and it will change hearts and minds. And that's a really important event here. Yeah, so I'm very excited to work with this amazing team of volunteers. They're all professionals in their role, right? So the person in charge of finance is an accountant. Yeah, the person in charge of ceremonies is a creative director. The person in charge of sports is a professional athlete. So it's really inspiring to work with those people or organize an event that is the same size of the Olympic Games. Yeah, and imagine that the Olympic Games will come to Hong Kong, everybody will be jumping. Yeah, they're not going to happen, but the Gay Games will be happening in Hong Kong in 2 years' time. So get ready, get engaged now, because we need about 3,000 volunteers during the Gay Games itself.
Yeah, I think you want to talk a little bit about our team. I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but I think for me, it's the diversity of the team that's quite amazing. I mean, there is a little bit of a diverse faces here, but do you want to touch a little bit on the diversity of the team?
Yeah, we have a very diverse team. People from Hong Kong, from US, people who are based in Australia, but are from Hong Kong. Of course, we have lots of non-locals as well. We have a quite diverse team. And a couple of weeks ago, we did an internal webinar. And one of our members who's responsible for recruitment, he did a presentation of one of the slides. And afterwards, I sent him an email telling, wow, he did a good presentation. And he told me, this was the first time I presented a slide. I've been rehearsing the whole day. And for me, that was an empowerment, because all along on this journey, we changing hearts and minds. And I've been in meetings with companies, and at the second slide, somebody asked, what does LGBTQ mean? Yeah, and we explain it. So on this journey, we're really educating and creating awareness about the Gay Games. And another thing is, I'm very happy and very proud also to have Vivian together with other 9 allies on the advisory committee, because it's not just about the LGBT community. Allies are really important to make that change and also create a unity in diversity.
I think it's also quite important to say that it will touch the younger generation. I mean, this is my part, outreach, and we look at people that might be sitting in a lounge room, might be wondering if they're LGBT or not, and might be want to participate in sport. But I think it's quite important for the youth. And this is one I want to ask Billy, because I think he's the youngest of our panel today. Billy, what do you think about when you talk to your friends, the younger friends, about Gay Games? And you mentioned a little bit earlier. Do you think this is something that's going to change their mind and heart and be a little bit more comfortable with themselves, or a little bit more open?
Definitely. First of all, I would tell them the game is exactly like the Olympic game, because to me, my personal, like when I grow up as a volleyball player, like everyone, when they know that, oh, you're playing volleyball, you must be gay.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, okay.
But then when I get to the Hong Kong team levels, then people start changing their mindset. Oh, you play for volleyball, like they surprised that you get to that level. So I think it's good to tell them that actually being sporty or joining like the sporty games definitely can change their life.
Fantastic. I think this is something that we can talk about. Let's go now on the little bit of more details on what actually the Gay Games is going to bring. To you, Chris. So you are in charge of ceremonies, and this is actually a countdown event. So in exactly 2 years, you will be having the hardest job of all of us, because you're going to be in charge of saying 1, 2, 3, go ceremony. So what plans do we have for that?
I mean, there is going to be a lot more people involved in it, and I will not be doing 1, 2, 3, go. Someone who does that professionally will be doing that. But yeah, I mean, it's a massive task. It's a huge opportunity as well for everyone really to be involved from a volunteer perspective. It is a big event. It's an opening ceremony to celebrate the Gay Games, and it's all about the participants. And our focus really, I'm working with John Collingwood-Smith, who's the creative director as well, and the vision overall is to celebrate Hong Kong, but also to celebrate the region and bring people together from around the region. So people from China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, we're from around the region, and to celebrate that uniqueness of the region. It's not, the Gay Games does have a strong tradition of being in the US or Europe, but this is the first time in Asia. So let's kind of tell that story, tell the story of Hong Kong, tell the story of around the region, and celebrate that diversity from around the region. That'll be done through various ways. I'm not going to say what they are, but there'll be song, dance, performances, and really kind of and hopefully some really great A-listers as well. So really
names.
No names. But anyway, it's going to be a real celebration and of pride, essentially. So we need volunteers from different levels. So looking at people who are interested in working in the events or in the creative process, get involved, sign up onto the website and volunteer.
Okay, great. So as Dennis said at the beginning, Gay Games is 36 sports, but we also have a cultural element to it. And there is the village. So the village is very much about, be there every night of the 9 days of the Gay Games. Charles is actually in charge of the village. Maybe you can give us a little bit more details on what's going to happen in exactly 2 years' time. You also go 1, 2, 3, go open the door. You will.
So we actually will start the night before. We will be starting yesterday. We'll have a pre-opening party, and then the village will officially start up in operation after the ceremony ends. So, and then we'll have the official opening party, also with some A-lister. One of the attendees in the audience will hopefully help me source that out. And then from then onwards is really 9 days of festivities, going from wellness in the morning, fitness, cultural arts, performance, music, dance. Every evening at the village, there will be a performance, a show organized by the arts and culture team. And then from about 8 o'clock to 11 on a daily basis, even on a Monday or Sunday night, there will be a party. So we are going to literally flip Hong Kong upside down with happy people jumping around in unicorns.
Okay, because the Gay Games is for people of Hong Kong, but also for our guests coming from everywhere from the world. We had some questions from our webinar audience, very much about e-sport and cultural event. Do you want to touch on this a little bit, Dennis? What is e-sport, and what can we expect for these Gay Games?
Okay, let's talk about arts and culture first. So participants can either participate in a sport event, and you don't need to pre-qualify, right? So the Olympic Games are for professional athletes. The Gay Games is open for everybody. Yeah, so if you play a sport for 30 years, you can join. If you've been playing tennis for 3 years, you can also participate, right? So first people can participate in sports, but we also can participate in an arts and culture event. So there will be singers, dancers, choirs, and orchestras every night at the Festival Village. Besides that, we'll also have art exhibitions. A couple of pieces of the Age Memorial quilt will be displayed here. And that's a very important element also of the Gay Games. And besides that, we will have a photo exhibition of the 40th anniversary, because this is the 11th edition of the Gay Games. So we're going to celebrate the 40th anniversary. Esports is a very important sport because lots of participants, they feel not good enough. They don't feel fit enough. They don't feel good looking enough. So esports is a nice way to include everybody who's not able to participate or thinks they are not able to participate in here. And also maybe it's good to mention, we'll have a scholarship program as well in place. Yeah, because participation will cost money to fly to Hong Kong, to stay in Hong Kong hotel, and also to register yourself. The scholarship program will enable participants and will give them financial aid to come here. Because it's not about how much money you have. We really want participants from overseas, but also from Hong Kong, to participate in the event which is important here. So the scholarship program application process will start next year in Q1, and the participant registration will start in June next year.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have a great discussion so far. Shall we just open to a bit of a Q&A? Anybody has specific question for us? No questions? Yes, there's one question over there. Can you maybe just come closer? Shall we do that?
Okay, that's a very good question.
Okay, I'm going to...
If I'm part from the French team, so the question is, I'm from France, do I participate in the French or the Hong Kong team?
And he lives in Hong Kong.
Exactly. So that's a very good question. So, like I said, right, the Olympic Games, you need to pre-qualify as part of your country or region. The Gay Games is about you as an individual. So there is no medal count on a country level. And you can participate, you can select the country / region you want to participate in. The only place where people are grouped in a region or / country is in the opening ceremony. People will be marching in the country / region where they want to select together with. Yeah, so if you're from France, there will be a big delegation, because the Gay Games were in Paris 2 years ago. So lots of people in France know about the Gay Games. But yes, so it's up to you.
Okay, great question. Anybody else wants to have a go at question? Okay, I still have a question for Billy. I like Billy. I mean, this is not, apparently now we heard that this is not the right medal, and you kind of misplaced the other medal. But how proud are you to actually carry that medal? How would be proud to actually carry a medal that says Hong Kong as one of the largest global sport events in the world? I mean, it's an LGBT event, but it's also a larger sport event. So what do you think you would feel yourself, and just maybe tell your parents, your family, your colleagues about this?
It's a very good question, because I think I would say it's proud enough to let me tell my company that I joined that event, and I show them our medal, our stories. And when they want to start, I was in American Express, and when they want to start the Pride Network, I actually I was thinking, oh, if I should raise my hand and do this job, and because it's also like a come out story for me in the company, telling everyone, oh, I participated in the game, and I show this story to the board member, like all the board of directors, and they all love the stories, because it's really proud to win a medal in Gay Games. It's
Thank you.
Really proud.
Thank you very much for sharing. Yeah. So I'm going to actually ask Vivian. Vivian is a great ally, and as you know, in the LGBT community, ally is actually sometimes the best letter in the LGBT plus. did you have any issues in explaining to people what the gay games were and explaining to people why this is something that you want to support? It is a sport event, it's true, but it's also an LGBT plus event. Have you actually encountered any challenges?
Well, I think in the last, I would say 2-3 years, people, it's more open, and they read, they hear, I think the importance of our gay game is because it comes from a sporting background. So it's kind of like more natural to introduce them, what is the game about. It's not just about, gay, it's about,
the party.
It's about sports, and it's about unity. It's a lot of things that we talk about. It's about fun things to do together. So I think I personally do not have a tough story or difficult story to tell, because because sports is basically is in my blood. So when I talk, I very naturally to talk about unity, bringing people together. It's just basically they are from all sort of backgrounds. Doesn't mean that they are strangers or aliens. So I do not encounter very difficult. I personally feel that they are even more warmer, more friendly, more easy to more willing to listen, more patience, a lot of good things, from this group. So yeah, I love them.
That's fantastic, because this is what we need. We need supporters. We need supporters from our community, the LGBT plus community, of all age and background, but we also need support from, from our allies. And maybe through what we do, a couple of people will change their mind on their family members, or if they have a bit of a narrow-minded onset. Maybe now we can just talk about how to get involved. You in this room, but also you online. Just to let you know, today I think we have over close to 120 people from 27 countries and regions from around the world watching this tonight. So I'm going to pass this to Dennis, and he's going to tell you how you can get involved.
Okay, great. So first go to our website, and you will see several options there. You can already start training for the Gay Games in 2 years' time if you not have any sports. So select one of the 36 sports, and then you can start training in one of the 36 sports. And the sports are from swimming, tennis, badminton, dragon boat racing, trail running. We have the e-sport, like we said. We also have dodgeball, and of course lots of ball sports as well, including rugby sevens. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're always looking for volunteers. Volunteers based in Hong Kong, but also all around the world. You can be part as a champion going into community with a t-shirt, with a banner to promote the event. But we also need volunteers with translation work, with marketing, and our customer supporting. And the third thing is you can go to our support page, where you see a complete overlist of people who have been supporting us during the last 3 years. So there's several ways already how you can already be involved. And the key thing is, go out to your communities, go out to your friends and family, and tell the story, because we really need to share the story within the next 2 years in Hong Kong and all around the world. So everybody's getting ready and exciting, and also start embracing the Gay Games. I think that's the key thing here.
Thank you very much. And Charles, you want to add?
I think from me, I would just want everyone to keep an open-minded. Don't say no before understanding it more. If any of your friends comes to you and be like, hey, what's the Gay Games? Just help us be our biggest promoter, be our biggest advocate. If someone tells you, I don't think I'm good enough, correct them. Just tell them what the purpose is about the Gay Games. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be gay. You could be anyone and everyone. So just support us. Online, offline, be organic. You don't have to talk to people every day. I'm not asking you guys to advertise, but just keep it at the back of your head. Be casual and say nice things about us.
I mean, this is amazing that it is in Hong Kong. The fact that we have we're going to have one of the largest sports events in the world in Hong Kong is actually amazing. For people here online, if you have some questions, you're going to receive a survey where you'll be able to ask some questions, and there's also some emails and some contacts there that you can actually reach out to, and someone will very soon answer your questions. Anything else you wanted to add, Dennis?
Yeah, go to our social media, Facebook, Twitter, China Weibo, LinkedIn, and start sharing our posts. Because the more we can share, the more people get involved in this movement. And
thank you very much again. Thank you very much, Chris, Vivian, everybody to come to share your story. I know I poked a little bit on your personal stories, but I think this is quite important. Thank you very much, the audience, to listen to us and to us sharing about what the gay game is. I hope you now have a better understanding of what it is. I hope you're going to do what Charles asked you to do, just talk about gay games. And if you have any more questions, you can reach out to us. Thank you very much.